Hello and welcome back to my Let's Challenge of BioShock. In the last episode, we didn't complete anything, but we actually got the telekinesis plasmid by using our incinerate plasmid to melt the ice over the dentistry sort of department. And now we're here, we have telekinesis, and we've been able to use this to clear the obstruction, and now we can actually chase down Dr. Steinman and hopefully finish off this selection. First of all, we're going to have another audio diary as we continue to sort of delve into Dr. Steinman's mind.
I had lunch with the goddess. Steinman, she said, I'm here to free you from the tyranny of the commonplace. I'm here to show you a new kind of beauty. I asked her, what do you mean, goddess? Symmetry. Dear Steinman, it's time we did something about symmetry.
So, I don't know if you noticed it, but the splicer in the distance had a little sort of red symbol above his head. What that indicates is that the security bot that came and attacked me was being controlled by him. Hence why it was red and angry. But now this is mine. Okay. So annoyingly, our boss is actually going to... Damn. Trigger man alive. So unfortunately, what's happened there is essentially I've been trying to hack that turret, but every time you shock it, every time it something attacks it afterwards. What then happens is so it looks like we'll just wait for these this alarm to run out, which shouldn't take too long. Aha! The nice thing about the alarm is obviously it gives us another security bot to actually add to our sort of a security bot companion to add. So yeah, no, yeah, so essentially what was happening there was I was trying to hack the turret by shocking it. As you can see, you can actually have two security bots working with you at the same time, which is pretty cool. But yeah, I was trying to hack the turret so that it would work for me. What was happening was every time I was shocking it, our security bot was then attacking it, which takes it out of the shock phase, which is a little frustrating. As we get a static discharge, which means if we get hit by like a thuggish splicer, for example, then we emit an electric shock to, you know, around to everyone nearby, which is pretty cool. The alarm that was being triggered probably was from in here, where there is a security camera that we can hack. So yeah, occasionally the security bots that you have sort of working beside you can be a little frustrating, but most of the time they're very useful. Hack the camera. But yeah, you saw that the turrets and various other turrets and things like that, they do rip through your health pretty fast, so just be careful with that.
Shimmering like a scalpel. Steinman, she called. Steinman.
go. Sweet. So, complete that. I think this one has some more health kits. It does indeed. So, obviously we can't carry those health kits. We may well need them after the boss, after battling with Steinman. But then again, there are a lot of first aid kits in that area anyway. We should hack this. Steinman will try and use the health stations, just as you can, so it's well worth hacking them, such that if he does, you know, try and use them, he does take a lot of damage. Lovely. So we'll do that. And we are here for the Steinman battle. So you need to approach here.
What can I do with this one, Aphrodite? She won't stay still. I want to make them beautiful. They always turn out wrong. That was too fat. This one too tall. This one too symmetrical. And now, what's this goddess? An intruder. He's ugly. 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 Ugly.
Stop shooting me. So there we go, Steinman down, nice and simple. Being able to distract him with our bots was incredibly useful as we get the defeated Dr. Steinman trophy.
Head back to emergency access. I'm working my way to the backside of Port Neptune myself. We'll get there soon enough.
So we'll get ourselves another health pack. So there's a lot of stuff actually down below which we can use as well. I believe there's a safe which just has 3 health packs inside. And a second. I was thinking he might actually sort of try, but obviously our security bots were doing more than enough sort of to distract him. So yeah, there's another safe here. This one's pretty easy to hack, if I remember correctly. There we go, lovely. And I think it just has, yeah, 3 first aid kits inside. We obviously have another health station which we could hack if we wanted to. There's no real point though. Aside from being able to show that I could hack it. Ah, screw it, let's hack it. Been hacking literally everything else, so. Either hack it or destroy it, but there's no point in destroying it because of the, you know, we already have maxed out health packs. One there. There. Boom. Okay, so that is Steinman defeated. Before we leave, the one thing we must remember to do is actually heading up here and to search the corpse on top there, because there is an audio diary on the corpse.
Silk and done.
The nose looks terrific, Dr. Steinman. Doctor?
You know, looking at it now, I didn't realize how much her face sags. Scalpel?
Excuse me?
Scalpel.
Doctor, she's not booked for a facelift.
Let's just come in here and...
Doctor, stop cutting. Doctor, stop cutting. Get me the chief of surgery. Get me the chief of surgery now!
So there we sort of start seeing what Steinman was starting to, you know, go through. And what he was putting his patients through. So, if we head this way, I believe a bunch of enemies are going to approach us, so we'll just hold Electrobolt here, because what we can do is we can just wait for them to enter the water and... Well, it's beautiful. I love the Electrobolt when it works. I think next time we get access to a vendor, we should definitely buy some Eve Hypos, because Eve Hypos is definitely something that we're running low on. But I'm pretty sure we've got everything we need from this area, which is really good. Speaking of which...
Welcome to the circus of value!
I'll buy 6. Oh, well, I'll buy up to 6, so that we have some room in case there are some in the next area.
Sounds like another tunnel collapse. Welcome to Rapture, the world's fastest growing pilot joke.
So anyway, we come through here, and a big daddy is just going to get flung through there. And unfortunately, you can't search the body. But what we can do is make our way around.
Stay away from her, or it is you who will be shot next.
Easy now, Doctor. He's just looking for a wee bit of Adam. Just enough to get by.
I'll not have him hurt my little ones.
It's okay, lad. That's not a child. Not anymore, it ain't. Dr. Tenenbaum saw to that.
Bitte, do not hurt her. Have you no heart?
Aye, that's a pretty sermon coming from the ghoul who cooked up them creatures in the first place. Took fine little girls and turned them into that, didn't you? Listen to me, Boyle. You won't survive without the Adam those things are carrying. Are you prepared to trade your life, the lives of my wife and child, for Tenenbaum's Frankenstein?
Here. There is another way. Use this. Free them from their torment. I will make it to be worth your while. Somehow.
So, and here comes the sort of the moral choice aspect of the game. It's been slated more like more recently. I've only seen sort of more negative aspects to it, and I can understand that it is sort of very much an easy decision to make. But this first choice is great, as you see the way the little sister sort of retreats from you. So yeah, you have the choice. You can either rescue or harvest. If you rescue, you get less Adam, but Tenenbaum will try and make it worth your while. If you harvest, you get more Adam. But the little sister won't survive the process. There is a trophy for rescuing every little sister, so that is the one that is the path we will be taking. So rescuing essentially gives you 80 a pop. Whereas if you harvest, you get 100 and...
Thank you.
The path of the righteous is not always easy, yes. The reward will become clear in time. Be patient.
Tenenbaum's playing you for a sap. Those things may look like wee little girls, but looks don't make it so. You need all the Adam you can get to survive.
You can see that essentially the little sisters use these vents to get around.
Paths with another of them gatherer's garden machines. Make sure you pick up a new plasmid or two. That's if the price ain't too dear, of course.
So yeah, so essentially the way it works is, so yeah, you get 80 Adam per little sister rescued. You'd get 160 for harvesting. And you might think at the time it seems like it makes a difference, but when you have a look at the rewards that Tenenbaum will give us, and we'll talk about that when that happens, you'll find that the actual net difference between the two paths is pretty negligible in terms of total Adam, And so because of that, there's really no reason not to rescue them, like most of the time, unless you want to see sort of the evil ending, because you do get two different endings depending on whether you harvest or whether you rescue. So we get another audio diary.
Not only are those little girls veritable atom factories, they're nearly indestructible. They regenerate any wounded flesh with stem versions of the dead cell. But their relationship with the implanted slugs is symbiotic. If you harvest the slug, the host will die. So you see, it's not like killing, Tenenbaum said. It's more like removing a terminal patient from life support.
Such a dark way of thinking about things. So, the Gatherer's Garden, as you can see, obviously if we had 160 atom, we'd be able to do a lot more here. You see we have Enrage, which is a plasmid that we've already seen in terms of the trials that Suchong were performing on it, which causes nearby splices to attack one another. We have Armored Shell, which gives you protection from damage. Eve Link, which is, you know, first kit to also give you Eve, which is actually really useful. These two we will want to buy at some point, because I don't think we can find them at any point just along the, you know, at no point I think they're hidden. And then the Eve upgrades. But the thing is that, so you can only get a fixed number of Adam and Eve upgrades depending on, I think there's one per area. And so, whereas these other things, Enrage, Armor Shell, Eve Link, they'll all continue on into the following areas, whereas the Adam and Eve upgrades are specific for each area. So in this case, we will go for the health and the Eve upgrades. I probably should have gone Eve, actually, because I think that would actually have helped us a little bit more. We do not want to be wasting electric buck on standard splicers. Okay, I'm gonna buy some more Eve hypos. And then what we'll also do is we will head to that weapons vendor and see what special ammo we can buy. The weapons vendor located down here. So getting some armored piercing rounds is always going to help. Yeah, we don't really have the money. So essentially, the way we're going to now face off against it, we're going to see a Big Daddy around this area here.
You're ready now. Time to take on one of them big daddies. It won't be easy, but it's the only way to get to little sister and the Adam they carry.
And this is pretty much the hardest. This is really difficult at this stage of the game. Just because we don't really have the weapons. It's one of these games where essentially as you get more powerful, the game gets far more easy. But right now, this is actually going to be pretty difficult. So, largely, Electric Buck is going to be hugely useful here. Yeah, you can see he does stupid amounts of damage to us. Come on, get over here. So what we're trying to do is trying to get that turret involved. If we get that turret involved, he may well start attacking the turret. Or we can just about get through that. And now we can rescue our second little sister. Ooh, that was close. Very close.
Thank you, mister.
And those battles never really get easy. There are a few weapons that you get sort of access to later on which make things do make things easier, but never like to the point of never to the point where they're trivial. Put some anti-personnel rounds in. Just make sure we're all got all the correct ammo. I didn't mean to use that health kit, but oh well. So now what we'll do is, obviously we had a bunch of health kits from various areas. We'll actually go back and collect those. And also, it's important that we go back to this Gatherer's Garden and get our Eve upgrade as well. So, just because those, like I mentioned before, those two upgrades, the one for Adam and the one for Eve, are only available in this area. Oh, we actually have, this is where you can get a copy of the director's commentary, which is quite cool. Does that mean I missed one in the first area? Maybe it does. Obviously that's only in the PS4 version. So I'm just going to quickly get back to this area because we had a bunch of stuff around here that we could get health kits from, like you. We'll get to 8 and I think we'll be done there. What's interesting is that essentially there are a fixed number of little sisters per area. Well, little sisters that you can rescue essentially. And they're shown on the map as they're shown on the pause screen, so you can see here that there are 2 little sisters in this level, and we've rescued them both. They'll also show you whether you rescue or harvest them. The big daddies will continue to sort of roam the area, but they won't necessarily have a little sister in tow with them, and that obviously means taking them on is far more foolish, I guess. You know, you're battling them for the point of battling them and not actually for any tangible reward in terms of Adam. But this is a medical pavilion pretty much done. We can now head back to emergency access as see, there you go, there's another big daddy just sort of wandering about. What we can now do is head all the way back to emergency access.
Come through as soon as you get there. You got Ryan's eye now. You won't hear him coming, but he'll be there before you know it.
So you obviously see that there's a nitro splicer up there who's launching grenades at us. Lovely. You can see anti-personnel rounds wreck these guys. So now what we can do is head up. That's not where we need to use it, although there's some machine gun rounds. Use it there because we have Dr. Steinman's key.
I don't know how you managed it, but you did. Come through to Port Neptune now. I'm looking forward to shaking your hand.
And there we go, we reach our bathysphere, and now we have, this is essentially the metro, the bathysphere metro, and this allows us to travel to the second area, Neptune's Bounty. The medical pavilion is a returnable area, so you can come back to it if you miss anything, but I'm pretty sure we grabbed all of the audio diaries, which is really good. If we don't, well, I'll be sure that obviously we can return back. But yeah, unlike, so it's essentially unlike the first area, that very first area in Welcome to Rapture, we could not return to. You never get the chance to sort of use a bathysphere to get back there. But yeah, no, now we're going to head over to Neptune's Bounty. We'll get a trophy for completing the medical pavilion and defeating Dr. Steinman. Just gonna, that should pop pretty soon.
Ryan's company. He's the one who built this place, and he's the one who ran it into the ground. Nobody knows exactly what happened. Maybe he went mad. Maybe the power got to him. Maybe he just decided he didn't like people. Whichever way you slice it, good men died. My family's in a submarine hidden in the foundation of Fontaine Fisheries. I'll meet you there.
So maybe it's not gonna pop. I don't know. Maybe it popped when we actually beat Steinman. I didn't actually mention it. But either way, that is that. I hope you have enjoyed this episode. I hope you'll join me on the next episode where we will start Neptune's Bounty.